Today we're going to cover cannabinoids. CBD, cannabidiol, and THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, are the major cannabinoids in cannabis. CBD is the predominant cannabinoid in hemp, whereas THC is the major cannabinoid in marijuana. But you also have these minor cannabinoids that you can see over here, which is CBN, CBG, CBL, CBDV, THCV, and CBC. But there are many, many more minor cannabinoids in the plant. In fact, cannabis is a whole pharma factory. You have major cannabinoids, minor cannabinoids, terpenes, but there are also fats, lipids, sugars, and many other compounds. In fact, when cannabis gets tested, there's a lot of different cannabinoids that the laboratory is looking for. You can see a lot of them right here. This is a phytocannabinoid guide. It basically shows you that the mother molecule, CBGA, is going to lead to all of the different cannabinoids in the olivitol series. There are three major and minor cannabinoid series: the olivitol series, the veronal, and the orcinol series. And this is showing the biosynthetic pathway in cannabis that requires light enzymes, heat, and oxidation. Cannabinoids have a very similar structure. They have this common core, and then where they vary is in this isoprene unit on the left and in the side chain on the right. One can also argue that cannabis is an adaptogen, which means a molecule that helps achieving homeostasis in the body. This is how cannabinoids act on the receptors in the endocannabinoid system. Over here you see two molecules, and these are the endocannabinoids that can bind in the nervous system in a synaptic cleft. You can see that here's the CB1 reactor, and the endocannabinoids can act directly on these receptors in that synaptic cleft. The minor cannabinoids can also act on these cannabinoid receptors and therefore cause a whole cascade of reactions. Terpenes also bind to these receptors. We have learned a lot about cannabinoids, and in the following lectures you're going to learn about terpenes. But what matters is that terpenes and cannabinoids, they work together in what's called the entourage effect. Here you can see, for example, that THC and CBD works hand in hand with limonene and pinene, and this is the pharmacology results. There's a lot of therapeutic potential in minor cannabinoids, but one must pay attention to the fact that double-blind human trials are still very scarce, and the most human trials are on THC and CBD only. So anything that's now available on minor cannabinoids is mostly on the animal model and in vitro. The legal landscape has typically prevented researchers to obtain material and source the material for clinical trials. And rare cannabinoids are still very difficult to get. But what we do know is that the limited research that we have so far shows that the cannabinoids are bioactive and have many different therapeutic and pharmacology properties. When I conducted a literature search in SciFinder Scholar, I quickly noticed that THC has the most literature hits, followed by CBD, CBN, CBG, and in fact, there are many other cannabinoids that have 0 hits. Here are some properties that CBN has been shown in the literature. It has shown to help with, in particular, chronic insomnia and other sleep disorders. Also, it has shown to be an antimicrobial and has analgesic effects. CBG is another minor cannabinoid that has been shown to be very beneficial for skin conditions such as acne and other infections like Staph aureus. Most recently, there's also a study that has shown that CBG can work on colon cancer cells. CBC is another molecule in the plant that has many health and wellness benefits based on the literature. But it also, again, just like CBG, has properties that are antimicrobial as well as antifungal. Then there are the cannabinoids from the varin series. CBDV has been shown to help with skin, obesity, and it's also used as an anticonvulsant. In fact, there's one human trial in progress right now by GW that are testing this cannabinoid for epilepsy. CBT is a very rare cannabinoid and not much is known about it at all. Recently, a lot of people have paid attention to the acids. That is the chemical cannabinoid that still has this carboxylic acid attached to it. It has been shown that the acids in some cases can be better than the neutral compounds. So CBDA can be better than CBD. In this case, CBDA has been shown to reduce nausea in particular, and that was more effective than CBD. The National Institutes of Health has announced a lot of funding opportunities to study these minor cannabinoids and terpenes and what they have to do with regards to pain. This is very interesting because now the National Institutes of Health is really paying attention to the minor cannabinoids and specifically state that the research should not be done on THC unless it's used for control. So there's a lot of different ways how we can get access to these minor cannabinoids, and I will be talking about that in a later lecture in the semester. There are also a lot of different ways to deliver cannabinoids to the body, and I again will talk about that in a later part of the semester. The future of minor cannabinoids is pretty great. There are supplementers, there's functional foods and beverages, personal care, sports nutrition, human clinical trials, and there's a lot of technology that will evolve. Have a good day.